actually read an article from earlier this spring that stated that you fed over 13 million people in 6 weeks, or 13 million meals in 6 weeks. That's just astonishing when you think about that. And really, I mean, how many students does the LA Unified School Districts typically serve? And how does that compare with what's happening with the current pandemic, meal distributions? And are you still able to offer the same foods and fresh produce?
So, our enrollment for our K through 12 is about close to 500,000. But then we have other schools. We have our early education centers. We have about 10,000 kids there, but then adult education, so many, so forth. So on an average day prior to COVID, we used to serve about 700,000 meals. That was breakfast, lunch, and a supper. How many kids came and participated? I think it varied depending on whether they were at elementary schools or at secondary schools. Elementary, we have a larger participation. Secondary, kids, as they grow up, they're like, I want to decide what I want to do, and so on and so forth. But we were still serving about 700,000 meals every day. We do offer fresh fruits every day. We do offer vegetables. That's part of our program. So that definitely we still do. What we had started to do, I would say about 6-7 months prior to pandemic, and we had only started at a few pilot sites. We'd started the farmers to table program, and so we actually twice a week at those schools we had a farmer actually bring the fresh produce, and it would be whatever vegetable or fruit was in season. So they'd get one fruit and one vegetable, and we'd either serve them raw, or the vegetables we would even cook them and serve them in different ways. And that program had started picking up very well. And I had the principal saying, I've never seen kids eat so many fresh fruits and vegetables. I was amazed things like when we served like pluots, and we served Asian pears, and then we served the Persian cucumbers. So many kids said we've never seen or eaten these fruits before. And for me, it's a normal thing to have this. So I was very pleased, to see that kids were being exposed to new things.
That's awesome. Well, I know during this whole time you've been in contact with representatives from United Fresh, getting to United, trying to really figure out how to potentially offer more fresh produce options to children and adults that were coming to your schools to pick up meals. So can you share a little bit about how United was able to provide you with insights into what was happening with produce supply chain at that time, and then also how they helped facilitate some connections?
Absolutely. So, we had heard right in the beginning, and when I say right in the beginning, I think it was probably the second or third week when we were into COVID, that there was a surplus of produce which was out there, because restaurants had stopped functioning, other agencies weren't functioning anyway. So the markets which wanted that produce were no longer using them, and so we did have people reach out to us and say, oh, I have so many truckloads of produce and so on and so forth available. Would you be interested? And we said, yes, we can definitely help distribute it, because we were having a huge number of people coming through our distribution centers daily, and there was a need of it. So we did pick up some of it, but then there were some challenges in terms of using it specifically for our program, because for the program we have to have it portioned out, and they really weren't able to do that. So it was a kind of a hit and miss. But then came the time when the USDA's Farmers to Families program started, and I was like, why can't I get access to it? And we had started getting like protein. So when I say protein, we started getting chicken and pork products. But I was like, that's not all that people want. What about produce? And that's when I reached out to United Fresh.